at the party of the KKK in the '94 crime bill, and Jim Crow. Don't do it. No, no. Don't do it, Nina. No, don't become a Dixiecrat. No, don't you remember what did Tulsi? Uh, don't do it, Nina. Oh, oh. Hi. Well, Merry Christmas, everybody. Looks like I passed out on the floor again. I had this nightmare that Nina Turner was going to run as a Democrat, a, a Dixiecrat. who, who, what? Like, why would anyone do that? Also, in this nightmare, everyone gave the power to Mitch McConnell and former Attorney General Barr to call the election. Uh, like, why would anyone give them the authority to call the election? That doesn't make any sense. And then, like, I guess everyone was saying that all these states didn't send dueling electors. Yeah, but that was just a nightmare that mainstream media would commit such chicanery as to like not acknowledge that states were sending electors to vote for Trump and Biden, because that's like, it's their right, but that just doesn't make sense. But it was all just a nightmare, you see. But yeah, like I was saying, Merry Christmas, everybody. Apparently, our country's not gonna completely cancel Christmas. That was just part of the nightmare for a virus that is shown to be 80% effective in preventing the effects of the virus. Don't really want to say what it is because, want to stay on YouTube. I think I've already said a lot already. Man, Nina Turner wouldn't do that, would she? Would she become a Dixiecrat, the party that had white voters show out in larger numbers than ever before to vote for a white supremacist Biden, while all the minorities showed up to vote for Trump because he acknowledged that they possibly, exist, and didn't just say, "Hey, vote for me." In this nightmare I had, there was this group called Antifa, and they were fascists, and everyone said that they were fighting fascists because they were fighting against people that were lawfully protesting, and they said that lawfully protesting was fascist. You know, it was just like one of those nightmares, like when you wake up in like a Mad Max type reality, and like Tulsi Gabbard, like in this dream that I had, like she introduced this bill, and this bill was to protect women's rights, and everybody started calling her a turf and saying that it wasn't to protect women's rights, that it was to be transphobic, and that everyone was so crazy that that they were just gonna ignore ignore the fact that testosterone within transgendered women obviously gives them a performative edge, such as having higher bone density and muscle mass. And it was just, this crazy dream that I had. And it was the year like 2020, and I was like 42 years old, and I still wasn't even a famous rapper. Man, what a nightmare that was. Anyway, I would say that if I were you, I would tell your friends about King James and Crayon Mouth and tell them to like look him up on Patreon and give him money so that he can have a softer carpet to pass out on after he gets too high. A little dab will do you, but a couple dabs will screw you. Anyway, that was just my wild imagination just going crazy, thinking that, after all the things that have happened, that Nina Turner was gonna um, run with the Dixiecrats, the party of the KKK and slavery. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like, everyone always says that the greatest trick. There's this colloquialism: the greatest trick that ever pulled was convincing the world they didn't exist. But I really think that perhaps the greatest trick that has ever been pulled was the party of slavery and the KKK, Jim Crow laws, and the '94 crime bill, and giving trillions to the corporations up to now, and families still suffering from all the things that have happened due to mandatory sentencing in states that were actually required to keep their prisons filled, or they would have to pay penalties. So, mandatory minimums. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna think about that terrible nightmare and hope that it was just a nightmare, and that I'm not a 42-year-old that's barely starting his podcast, that's still not a famous rapper. What the hell? What kind of reality am I living in? Nia Turner can't be a Dixiecrat. But if Tulsi Gabbard did actually go off and introduce a bunch of legislation like that, the thought of all of those liberals' heads exploding is just so sweet, and it just makes me want to fall back asleep. Anyway, thank you all very much for listening to my bed floor side hi chat. Hi, Karen. Hi, all you assholes out there that I don't like. Hi, all you assholes out there that are cool. Hi, everybody that I love. Hi, Mama. Don't let my nightmare become true. One thing I've really been thinking about it just always slips my mind, is the connection between Tulsi Gabbard and Kyle Rittenhouse. Not too many people want to talk about that. Did y'all know that Kyle Rittenhouse is just some half Latino like me that grew up poor like me that got all excited that something was happening like me when there was like a when I was a kid there was a movie that was filming in my town and I wanted to go down and check out the movie but I wasn't carrying no gun so it's kind of different but ultimately Mr. Kyle Rittenhouse his own lawyers have worked against him that guy Lynn Wood. Yeah, apparently a lot of the money that he got, he ended up putting that money toward other things that had nothing to do with the case. Said that $800,000 of the money was for payment of the defense. Then he jetted. Now, where's the Tulsi Gabbard connects to Kyle Rittenhouse? That starts with Bainbridge, because that's the law firm that represented Tulsi Gabbard, who ends up being a bunch of clout chasers. They also represented Rudy Giuliani. They just like representing people that have high profile cases, and you know what they did was they took Tulsi Gabbard's case, said they'd represent her, but ultimately they never really had any intention of taking the suit all the way through without heinous amounts of money coming in. And Tulsi Gabbard doesn't have insane amounts of money coming in. So she couldn't afford to go up against the cabal that is the Hillary Clinton. So how does that tie to Kyle Rittenhouse? Well, Kyle Rittenhouse hired this same law firm. Anyway, you know, they used him. They used him for money, and they used him to gain their fame. And that's all that they do. Because people that are broke in this country, people that aren't in the upper echelon of our society, that aren't privileged, people like Tulsi Gabbard, who's on the lower rungs of the congressional people that are all millionaires or almost millionaires after, just getting in, even if they don't take a bunch of money. I mean, like, how's Trashida almost a millionaire? How's Ilhan Omar have over $3 million in net worth? And how is AOC not a millionaire? These are the types of things that keep me up at night. But right back to Kyle Rittenhouse. Sorry if I'm ranting. I'm sleepy. I was just passed out on the floor. The kid obviously was defending himself, even if a lot of people don't want to acknowledge the actual facts of the case. But man, if you were like me and you actually saw all this stuff happening, because this is back when all the riots were happening after night, I couldn't sleep at night anymore. I was just always up watching all these riots that were happening, seeing all this crazy stuff, and then I saw this Kyle Rittenhouse thing from multiple perspectives, the people that were ducked down with him in the cars, the documentary filmmaker that was there, and shots that were fired from a distance, and the ballistic. We don't know even if Kyle had the kill shot on the first guy that was the pedophile that was chasing him because he thought that he was another guy that had stopped him from burning a trash can. And, everyone just wants to assume the intention of Kyle Rittenhouse was to go there and wreak havoc. But, I mean, according to some people, he just went there because he had training as a lifeguard to do CPR and stuff like that. So, yeah. I mean, that's what he seemed to be doing, and he was running around and got separated from the place he was guarding, and then ended up at the gas station where mistaken identity. They thought he was the guy that stopped the trash fire. So Kyle got chased down, and then the pedophile's buddies ran into him, and they tried to kill him. And everyone said that they were brave because they were mad about their criminal friend that they went there to go burn stuff with got killed. The representation of the case was keeping Kyle Rittenhouse in the state where he was instead of just expediting him to Wisconsin made it so that he couldn't get cash bail because for the type of crime that he had committed, cash bail was just not an option. They don't do cash bail for that type of criminal activity, but in Wisconsin they did, so Bainbridge actually fought to keep him in a state where he couldn't have bail. Was it because the bail was so high? They didn't want all that money to come out of their pot. I mean, that's really what was going on. And then he finally got expedited over to, Wisconsin. And then he got bail. And everyone got real mad because people felt real bad and they decided to pay for his bail. I guess that's not part of the nightmare. Hopefully the rest was. I'll just have to, go and watch the mainstream news and see if any of this stuff is true about Nina Turner running in the KKK party. I mean, like, what the hell is going on? Why would someone run in the KKK party if they're black? That makes no sense at all unless everyone is just playing a game and they're all sheepdogging us to vote for the people that are already in power so that they can keep them in power forever. How the hell is Nancy Pelosi so old? Oh, I forgot. The good die young. Well, hopefully I'm not too good, right? Don't want to die right now. Everybody have a good night.